Okay, so we got 4 weapons that they are fully replicated. We got the character that is fully replicated and components that are fully replicated, but our interaction with them are, well, not replicated at all. So what we need to do for it to work on dedicated server, let's see. If we play as a client and we hit play right now, and if I try to interact with any of the items, really nothing will happen. So let's do something about that. First of all, let's open the character and the interaction itself. We want once again to see for 1 frame our trace, and this is 200 forward unit trace. We set the item in view. Okay, so what we want to change is this. So F shouldn't go into interact with item, it should be a custom event saying server interact with item, and this is obviously run on server, reliable event, and we're just calling it. So this is only local, so we are searching for interactable items only local. And then we are calling on the server, and there should be an input saying item to pick up. And let's not do spaces. Okay, and this is an actor, and this is an actor reference. So very important here is to have our weapon template actor to not be netload on client, or our references will not work properly. So what we want to do is get our item in view and just push it forward to the server. And on the server, we want to say distance to other actor is self. And if this is smaller or equal than 200, then let's say that we can do something about it. And also we want to know that this item is not in someone else's equipment or inventory at the moment. But this is something we're going to change and look at later on. So first of all, if it is in range, so the range is smaller than 200, we want to interact with item. And we want to interact with item, and when we interact with item, we run this colossal function. And is anything really have to be done on local client instead of the server? I don't really think so. I think this should really work already. Let's see. So right now I got detection on local client with this item, and I want to equip it, so I just click F and nothing happened. Okay, why nothing happened? We're going to check in a second. Let's get back into our event graph. And let's go here and let's go here. So we want to do some print text, and we want to say item is this item, distance is this. Okay, and from the pickup item, we want to get item component. We just want to get name of the item and see if this reference is even working. And if it is, oh wait, we have to cut it all out and do a format text and put it here. Okay, so this is the name, and this is the distance. So we print it and then we go forward with everything. Okay, let's see. I am a client. I am saying log 17, distance 106, which means that it should really work. So interact with item function. Let's see. Okay, it's not working because we're referring to item in view. So in our event graph, before we call this function, we're going to check everything one at a time. So item in view, we have to set it. We have to set it to this actor that is valid. And now having this item in view, we can try again. So let's try. Okay, and now it worked. So I guess that this was everything we had to do. Let's try to swap items. It worked as well. It works perfectly. Let's pick up a primary. Yep, I picked it up. And I do not have a stored reference, so I cannot right now switch weapons, which is pretty bad. And let's pick up this one. This one got dropped. This one got equipped. Okay, so the only problem now is setting references. So it's those store shortcut reference. So what we might want to do is go here, to event graph. I want to make another multiplayer event, custom event, set reference. I want to say equipment and save shortcut reference. I want to say key item execute. And this is replicated on loading client reliably by the server to the client. So we now just go into here and say, how did we call it? We called it set reference. Okay, let's maybe call it on client set reference. Okay. Okay, on client set reference here, and here. Okay, so the item, what's this item? It's just this item. And key is 1 and key is 2, and target is self, which is true, which you can adjust to make it pretty. Okay, and now let's test it. No, it's still not working. Okay, but we can actually debug and see what's going on. So we can go here to our character. We can now go into details. We can find our equipment, and we can see that we do have references to BP, MP7, BP, hand cannon. So the problem is not the references that are being stored properly, it's the execution of the references. So you go back here into our event graph and we just go into our references. Where do we use them? Oh, it's here, 1 and 2. Okay, so you can see here that we're saying that if we have a reference, equip item in slot on the server, which we cannot do. So yeah, this needs to happen on the server. So let's do a custom event and say server equip weapon, and we need to have a reference weapon, and well, pretty much what's happening is that we no longer need to run it twice because it's exactly the same, and we just need to run it once like this, and this is the previous weapon. Okay, and here if it is true, right, this is how it was set up. Yeah, so only if it is true, and maybe like this. So only when it is true, we want to do server equip weapon, but this is not unfortunately all. We have to do one more thing for it to work properly. And here as well, and we just push this reference. We need to also locally store previous item unless we replicate it. Yeah, so if we just do it like this and just run it on the server reliably, we no longer have to set it locally. This should have time to replicate before all the events happen. So, yeah, let's try it. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And we got Cyberpunk for a second. If we change weapon really fast, we can almost Cyberpunk ourselves. But yeah, we can now reliably switch weapons on multiplayer. So what we could do is we don't enable this very fast cycling, and this would save us from those errors. So, okay, save, okay, and okay, we no longer need to print this really. We should do a valid check for sure. Yeah, we can. Why not? But only if it's valid. Okay, so this saves us from that problem. And now here on 1 and 2, what we might want to do is do gate. And then we close it, and when do we reopen? We just set timer by event, reopen 1, and this happens after half a second. We reopen the gate. And we can do the same here, and we can just copy this, and we'll say this event already exists, so we just name it reopen 2, and whenever we hit 1 multiple times, this actually reset, so we cannot now break it like we did previously. Okay, dismiss, and let's try it. Pick up 1, 2. Okay, other way how we could do that, we could actually make it on animation, that when something happens, we reopen this. So let's say that this is like enter. This should actually close both gates. Here as well, it should close both gates, and this should reopen both gates as well. Okay, let's try it. Maybe now I cannot spam it. Okay, now I completely broke it. So yeah, let's maybe just keep it as it was. I'm gonna just do once. This is a lot cleaner, and this is just a reset. Do once and reset. Okay, it's not half bad. It works pretty okay. Oh, we haven't set poses for jumping, so they are all using the same hand cannon poses. That's small thing. Let's test it on multiplayer. Let's see how it works with 2 windows. So let's do it like this, and I will just observe for now what this small window guy is doing. Let's be this guy. Let's pick up an item, and he's super awkward, but he did pick it up. And what's happening with my aim offset? Why isn't it being interesting? Where did we change that we are no longer doing a look at but aim at? Mockup character, equip and equip. Okay, setup aim offset. So this is being called on equip, and we're saying not camera based, handgun head, aim clamp, aim nearest. Interesting. Why would aim offset break? Okay, let's test this again. Let's see what else is not working correctly. So let's go to this guy. Let's pick up a weapon. Okay, he shouldn't replicate this state, so this works. He did drop the weapon and pick up another one. He did change animations, which works well. Okay, I can pick up this, and I can switch weapons. And it does replicate visually as well. However, I'm not aiming up and down for some reason. So let's see what's going on here, but I can also pick up here. And where's the other one? Here. And let's see. Yeah, like this guy doesn't see him aiming up as well. Okay. Interesting. So let's see our anim graph. Oh, I know why. I know why. Okay, anim graph. It's probably this. Aim offset, and this says is first person. So this should be, oh yes, this should be false on remote. So what we should do is also say B local controlled. Only locally we want to go into first person mode. Okay, now that should be literally everything. Let's see. This guy going to stand here, and look what this guy is doing. So he's picking up weapon, aiming up and down with aim offset. Yeah, everything works. Pick up another weapon, swap it, go to a next weapon, pick it up, swap it immediately. Now I have a secondary in my equipment. Okay, I dropped this one. I got this. okay, and I got this, and this is not as instant but smooth on multiplayer, but the rotation of the character is instant, so it's replicated properly. And yeah, I can now be this guy, I can pick up this weapon, I can pick up this, and because we haven't make it impossible, because we should code it in, I can actually take this guy weapon from his hands. So let's fix this as the last thing. So let's make sure that the weapon we are interacting with, and we can do this check on the server side, by the way. So we do it here, like this is the gate that says don't try to pick up this item. We might want to say, hey, is this item component, does it have we can get owner, which is an actor, well, not of this item, and we can see the previous owner, and from this owner we can get equipment of this owner. So ownership of actors is being changed with AGR equipment and inventory, because ownership of actors is super important down to relevancy of replication. So it's being managed automatically. So you can refer to items owner and you know that the owner is the owner, or if the item got dropped on the ground, this is the previous owner that dropped it. So how do we know that it wasn't dropped? Well, it wasn't dropped if it is in equipment. So if it is not, get item in slot, and the slot name is weapon. And we can access slots on multiplayer as well. So we have to get it here. And if it is equal, so we have to do another check. So if we get item in slot and there is item in slot true, because if it's false then we just go forward, but if it is true then we do another check if it is exactly this item. So we might want to, so only if it's false we want to go forward. Here, okay, so only if it is not exactly this item we want to go forward. So now if I play as two players, I can go with this guy, pick up an item, and now as this guy I shouldn't be able, I can't, like the distance is fine, everything is fine, but this weapon is already owned by someone. Well, I can do this and I can do this and I can do that, and I am still owner of this item on the ground, but this guy won't be able to pick up my primary weapon AK, but he can still pick up this primary weapon that got dropped. So yeah, that solves all the issues with multiplayer, and right now we could actually just add shooting with easy ballistics and make it a multiplayer shooter very easily on this map, which we might actually end up doing in the next video. And also you can see that this problem with hand poses is also due to the base pose. So let's do that as well. This will be the actual last one. Oh, accessing none. Get item in slot. So if this is valid, that get owner is valid. Okay, we need to check if the owner is valid, and if owner is not valid, then we skip this entire condition and go directly to the distance check. And if owner is valid, we also should check if he has equipment, right? Because we might not have equipment on the owner for some reason, I don't know why, but maybe. And if it's false, then go here directly as well. Okay. And what was the last thing I wanted to do? So we got those guys. Oh yeah, the pose. So here, when we do setup aim offset, we can also say animation master setup base pose, and we want to set up base pose as base. And I think Rifle Pro will be more adequate for that. So let's hit play again. And let's be this guy. Let's switch to this guy. Let's, oh, I got lost. Okay. So yeah, it's Captain Stiff. But if I go into rifle, now I got a lot better pulse when it comes out to my back. So my left hand, it's stretching, but it's losing contact only on a very extreme angles, no longer all the time. So not all base poses fit blending. And now also the weapon and everything doesn't sink into the shoulder that much, but virtual bones is still safe keeping our aim offset and our aim when we are ADSing. So this still works as should. Okay. Okay, let's see errors. And there are no errors in this session. Okay. It seems everything works as intended. And I think it looked intimidating at some parts of the tutorial, but overall, now adding new weapons, it's super smooth, super easy, really fast, reliable, and working on multiplayer. And you can, even on multiplayer, do stuff like really fast switching weapons and just doing some crazy stuff. And picking up, changing, swapping, basically doing anything, changing references, changing while having a weapon equipped or not. And very fast you can switch weapons back and forth. And yeah, everything works. So thanks for listening, and we got this working on multiplayer in super fast time and fixed all the bugs in really nicely, nice and fast. And yeah, we can just add a fifth weapon just to show you how easy it is. Thanks for listening, see you in the next tutorial.